All right, so we are on to, as you can see, I completed everything. Just wanted to kind of finalize everything, make sure it's running good before I created these YouTube videos. It's been a long couple weeks, and I'm very grateful to Dr. Grisham. This is Maximilian has been a great teacher at this, but it's been a lot of work and a lot of time watching lectures. And for accelerated course, I would expect nothing less. So let's start this out. So this would be the quiz app. And as you can see, it has multiple videos kind of detailing how to do the code for this and how to write in Dart and implement in Flutter. Yeah, this one was a lot of time. As you can see, just the lectures alone were 4 hours and 2 minutes, I would say. Probably took me around 8 to 9 hours. Just had to rewatch everything, read the transcript, kind of go through everything, and learn in detail what was being implemented, the language, how to do everything, styling, just everything. Take this down. That's our video editor. As you can see, I had it up there running, but I'll put it on right now. Let's run it real quick. Sorry about this. Just gonna take 1 second, Dr. Grisham. It'll pop up. Just takes a minute to load and to get started. So as we wait, kind of what I had to do for this, we had to build a Flutter learning quiz. So there it is, where we could answer Flutter related questions. And after this, it basically answered these questions. We would get a result screen, as you can see, kind of as shown here. Were answered correctly and which would have been the correct answer. For this result screen, which we'll see at the end, and I go through, it shows you I got 0 out of 6 questions correctly. So it gives you a result, and you can restart the quiz. It's just basically learn way more about Flutter and also Dart. The knowledge that is a main function in the main Dart file is an entry point since it's executed automatically by Dart. The application starts and must then call or run an app and pass your widget tree to it, basically, is what is happening here and what basically Maximilian described to me as happening here. And then we would pass around between these widgets, including kind of more complex functions. Basically, in this section, we learned that widgets you can actually also accept functions as input values and as arguments, basically, and that you can then use these functions in your widgets, for instance, to like bind them to the buttons, and that therefore you can basically set those functions as values to the arguments that want functions. Basically, we also learn in this section is kind of the fundamentals of pass functions as values. Which is just very important because a pattern that is needed in more complex Flutter apps that we'll learn and kind of implement as we go forth after this video. And just going forward, honestly, in creating app development and working with app development is really important to learn these lessons. And also conditional content, which kind of help with the keyword, which is kind of basically to set variables in the case or different values based on different state values. And then ultimately, excuse me, you can use this in different ways. Variable contains different values based on different state values the UI looks. So I'll show you this. Probably better to actually show what I'm talking about. So you have like identifiers, you have summary, you have answer buttons, main function, question screen, quiz, result screen, start screen. These are all kind of the core buttons, but we're talking about like basically these widgets, and basically a summary identifiers is crucial. But as you can see what I'm talking about, so it's not just like I'm just talking, the different UI states for different conditions that we created, and basically learn about if statements, which is a great way of setting content conditionally. We also learned about ternary expressions, which basically gives you a more concise and um, understanding of setting content conditions. Um, and we could always manage like entire widgets as state values. That's another lesson we kind of learned. And we basically just learned some of the disadvantages, especially that widgets then must receive some data like a pointer at a function. And we also learned crucial Dart concepts, features in many programming languages, just like code repeatedly until some condition is not met anymore. Um, and we also quickly combine different key value pairs into one object. The alternative would have been to build a custom class as a blueprint for a custom object, but there's just different types of casting to tell Dart which type of value is stored under a specific key in such a map, basically. And we just learned basically features and patterns of new widgets, like the single child scroll view widget, which is basically to make a child widget, often a column scroll able, which is sometimes used on the final results page to make this box in the middle of the scroll able to basically size and height specifically. So like right here, exactly. The height, pattern, top, just the way it's designed would be exactly that child scroll view widget. We also learned middle scroll view, and we also learn new configuration items and styling options and actions like the shape option for elevated buttons to add the rounded borders to the button in general, and configuration of various flatter widgets. But also we learn class keywords for custom widgets. We also kind of implemented in this one utility method for shuffling those answers and returning a new list of shuffled answers. This is a custom class in the section, and speaking of shuffling answers in the section, you also kind of learn various methods that can be called on lists and manipulate and analyze those lists. The shuffle method is just very useful. It keeps everything kind of rotating. Created a new list that contains list entries where a certain condition is met. And kind of to finalize, we just pretty much were able to build an application that is just a basic kind of demo, and kind of give us a key foundation of what we're kind of trying to implement. And yeah, kind of just gives us a solid starting point of understanding and building different widgets, different custom classes, and having them all function together, and just understanding really the functionality and the language of, yeah, Dart and Flutter working together and creating this program. So Dart's an interesting language, and I find myself, I'm at the end of it now, so I found myself gaining knowledge as I did it and kind of becoming second nature, but there's still certain just custom widgets and kind of having them interact. And this one specifically, the part that I struggled with and had issues with was basically the pointer and understanding that. And also just the kind of was calling upon the images that was I was struggling. I kept on getting error messages, but I got it then. So yeah, that's just a synopsis, just showing my knowledge of the material. As you can see, I watched all the videos, watched them multiple times. Sorry, just kind of trying to show you my knowledge of what I gained from this assignment. So hopefully this is enough, and I appreciate it, Dr. Grissom. Okay, so we're going to move on, and this one will be Section 5. So this is expense tracker app. So yeah, this one was also a long one, and it just had multiple concepts and kind of just widgets. I had to create a couple models, and then kind of lists. So in all the three kind of implemented together, kind of created this more or less expense tracker application that kind of uses widgets and theming to kind of interact and create this application. So I already started up, so I didn't have the same problem as last time, kind of learning as I go with these videos and with what you want and kind of showing you what you are asking for. So basically, this is a crucial concept, and learn how to basically create a snack bar or a model button sheet basically that we can handle user input with text fields. Also has a drop down buttons as we're doing it here, and build basically a manual date picker by showing a date picker, which to build and show date picker function, which I will show you right now. Here we're at date picker. Shows buckets and basically total expenses, and kind of has a child function. So get started on that, and then we learn basically how to kind of interact with the two and go from there and create a new expense, which you're looking at below. And this just provides just a walk along of key concepts and these methods basically that carry a meta information about a widget and widget related to other widgets. It carries basically extra elements and text editing controllers as shown in the new expenses. I'll scroll down. Shows you first date, date time, now year. These are all just algorithms that will be implemented and show you kind of the implementation, what you're being shown in the application. So basically we learn crucial elements such as select a date and select a category, which basically is a text editing controller. Dispose basically to us to build and dispose method, into which we basically can hook into the expense. So as you can see here, be a hook into expenses and basically passing pointers as function to your own widgets, so that some child widget can call a function that is basically belongs to a parent widget. I know that's kind of confusing. I'm trying to use the terminology and kind of the lessons learned through this, and I hope you can understand that. If not, I could go into more detail about that, but basically that's what we're doing. And the new widgets in this one are just icon button, app bar, just certain applications, and kind of just practicing the patterns that we learned from previous sections. We also learned useful widgets like list view widgets, and the builder method. So basically you can use all these, and then the chart one. So it's just multiple different widgets being called upon. So, and we also learned about the dismissible widget, which is basically making a list items dismissible. So you go expense widgets, go to item. So this would be where it's at. And also we also learned about theming. You can define and use different color themes. So you would want to go to it would be no item. But yeah, yeah. Where did I put this widget? I'm gonna try to find it for you guys, so I could kind of show you what I'm talking about. No, it has to be it. So, sorry, I'm bouncing around. Your data, chart bar data. It should be in this one. Oh, there it is. Darker. Yep, right there. Okay, sorry about that. So it'll be in there, and then basically we were overriding the settings, and we were everything basically up to scratch, and creating a kind of a Flutter tool belt, as they say, that we can build exactly apps that we want to build. This just provides us with just a deeper knowledge of the concepts and kind of functionality of everything. So it was kind of confusing on the widgets and all the understanding of just Dart language and kind of understand where it's kind of coming from. So we just had to create kind of a dummy data to start with, and then we rendered the basically list view, and then from there we created custom list items, and then we use icons, and then the app bar as I discussed, and understanding kind of the context, the text, and then basically creating the snacks bar theming, the color scheme. It's just a lot of, and also adding the dark mode, which I showed you before, kind of right here. So it's just all of that. It's just a lot of custom detail in this application, as you can see. And so this is the Flutter expense tracker. I hope that made sense. I hope this provided enough information. And once again, I'm very grateful for this course. I'm learning a lot as I go. Hopefully, I'm explaining and teaching it as I understand it. I'm trying to, and I appreciate you. Thank you, Dr. Gershon. Bye bye.